At the start of the episode, we see Mara standing on top of a tall building. He thinks to himself that he has had enough and just wanted to be happy. Mara then jumps off the building. As he falls, something strange happens. He doesn't hit the ground. A moment later, he wakes up and wonders how he's still alive after jumping. An angel has caught him in midair. Mara is confused and thinks he might be dead, and the angel is there to take him. The angel explains that she saved his life by catching him before he hit the ground. Mara feels frustrated and tells her he didn't want to be saved. At first, he doesn't believe her, but when she points out there's no body on the ground, he accepts it. He says that it was wrong for her to save him and that he wants to die. The angel explains that she came to help him find happiness. She reminds him that he had just wished for happiness before jumping. Mara tries to deny it, but the angel insists that she saw it. Mara then says that it doesn't matter anymore because his life is full of pain. He has no family, no reason to live, and nothing left to hold on to. The angel tells him that she's here to give him hope, freedom, and love. Mara thinks this is nonsense, but the angel shows him her wings, explaining that they represent freedom. She tells him he can do anything and go anywhere with them. Mara dismisses her words, feeling it's all pointless. The angel then offers him two choices: the wings for freedom or a red arrow to make anyone fall deeply in love with him. Mara can't decide between the two and asks for both. The angel agrees to give him both, explaining that it's not a rule that he can only choose one. The angel throws some rings at Mara, and they latch onto his hands. When he tries to remove them, she tells him they can't be taken off. Mara asks what will happen if people see the rings, but the angel assures him that only those with angelic powers can see them. Mara then asks how to use the powers, and the angel explains that he needs to say the right words to activate the wings. Mara tries it and says the right words, and instantly, the wings appear. The angel tells him he did it right. Mara is amazed and starts to think about flying. As he focuses on flying, the wings lift him up quickly, and he soars through the sky. He feels annoyed at first because of the clouds, but once he breaks through them, the view becomes beautiful and he starts to feel at peace. After flying for a while, Mara lands back on the ground and begins to reflect on his life and a friend he once had. Just then, the angel appears and comments on how well he flew for the first time, asking if he enjoyed it. Feeling embarrassed, Mirai denies it. The angel continues by explaining that now, with these powers, he can make anyone love him and control their every action, thoughts, and decisions. Mirai then asks how he can be sure she's really an angel. She responds by telling him she is an angel, and there's no reason to doubt it, as she is a special, high-level angel. Mirai replies that she sounds more like a devil than an angel. The angel tells him that devils don't exist, but people can have hearts that act like devils. She then tells Mirai that his uncle and aunt killed his family out of jealousy because his father had a lot of money. They wanted to inherit everything, so they killed his family. Mirai is shocked and doesn't believe her. The angel says if he doesn't believe her, he can ask his aunt, and she will tell him the truth. She gives him an arrow that will make his aunt fall in love with him and tell him everything he wants to know. They go to his aunt's house, where she greets him and asks him to go outside and get some light. Mirai replies that he needs to talk to her about something important. His aunt tells him to go ahead and tell her. As she stands up, Mirai gets ready and uses the arrow on her. It hits her, and soon she begins to tell the truth. Mirai asks his aunt if she and his uncle were responsible for his parents' deaths. She admits that it was true, explaining that it was his uncle's idea, as he wanted the money. She tells Mirai that his uncle had kept him alive to collect the insurance money, and that's why he had adopted him. This makes Mirai very angry. Suddenly, his uncle walks in and hears his wife confessing. He angrily yells at her, and they begin to argue, with his aunt blaming him for everything. Mirai, filled with rage, tells them they both deserve to die for what they did, and that they don't deserve to live. Overcome by guilt, his aunt grabs a knife and takes her own life. Mirai is shocked and feels guilty when he sees her dead. He considers calling for help but realizes his uncle is still alive and begging for his life. Mirai is lost, not knowing what to do. Later, Nas visits Mirai, who has been sitting in his hotel room for 3 days, avoiding using his powers. She tells him that his uncle has spread a lie, claiming his aunt went crazy and killed herself. Nas tries to encourage him, but Mirai says he doesn't care about controlling others or having power. He just wants to live a normal life and be happy. When Nas asks what he means by normal happiness, Mirai explains that he wants to sleep when he wants, eat what he likes, fall in love, and eventually have a family. That, he says, is real happiness. Nas listens carefully and says that she only wants him to be happy. However, Mirai admits that he needs money to move forward in life. Nas then suggests that he use the red arrow on his uncle and his family to take their wealth, as they were responsible for killing his parents. Mirai refuses, saying he can't hurt innocent children. Nas then tells him about a white arrow, a special weapon given to select angels or candidates for God. Mirai asks why someone who might become God would need such a weapon. Nas reveals that there are 13 candidates competing to become the next God, each with their own angel, and that the competition is fierce, with some candidates already killing each other. Mirai is shocked as he realizes that his quest for happiness has turned into a dangerous game. He begins to question the sacrifices he might have to make and wonders what it truly means to fight for the position of God. Meanwhile, in heaven, God addresses all the angels. He explains that he has always worked to help humanity, but now it is time for him to step down and allow someone else to take over as the new God. He announces that 13 humans have been chosen as candidates, and one of them will become the next God. The new God will lead a peaceful life, while the current God will step away. The angels have 999 days to choose the next God. Hearing this, Nas is excited, thinking that now, Mirai can truly be happy. Mirai is still struggling to believe that he is one of the 13 candidates. Nas confirms it and reminds him that her being an angel proves that God exists. However, Mirai doesn't want to become God. The idea is too overwhelming for him. Nas tells him that if he chooses not to participate, he will lose his wings and arrows. Mirai says he doesn't care about losing them and recalls his mother's words, "Happiness isn't complete unless everyone around you is happy." Reflecting on his past, Mirai realizes he just wants a simple life. Later, Mirai tells Nas that he doesn't want either the white arrow, which causes instant death, or the red arrow, which controls people. He decides that he will turn his uncle into the police and not use his powers for personal gain. Nas reluctantly agrees and says that they should act quickly. The next day, Mirai sees something shocking on TV. A man, another god candidate, appears with an angel by his side. Mirai sees a man surrounded by women and thinks that the man is using the red arrow to control them. He asks Nas if there's a way to undo the effects of the red arrow. Nas tells him that after 33 days, the red arrow's effects wear off and that it can only be used once on each person. The scene shifts to show another god candidate attacking the man. This god candidate uses the white arrow to kill the man instantly. Mirai realizes that the competition for becoming God is turning deadly. The next day, Mirai submits his school application and focuses on his studies. Nas suggests that Mirai could use the red arrow to make someone else do his work for him, but Mirai refuses. He wants to succeed on his own without using his powers. Then, Mirai sees breaking news on his phone about the death of the god candidate. He feels shocked and sad after hearing about it. In heaven, the killed candidate, Lut, says that he was happy his death happened quickly and that the person who killed him was interesting. Back on Earth, Mirai watches the news about the death of the candidate and feels down. Just then, Nas enters and praises Mirai for getting accepted into high school, but Mirai doesn't think he's that smart. Nas insists that he is. In the final scene, Mirai's uncle is arrested by the police. It's suggested that the red arrow might have been used to make him surrender. Later, Mirai talks to Na about how his uncle is in jail. Mirai reflects on how his life is slowly getting better now that he has a place to live, food, and is going to school. Na understands that Mirai feels sad about the death of the god candidate. Mirai thanks Na for saving his life but wonders if he should keep the angel powers, as they're too much for him. Suddenly, Mirai sees a news report about a bank robbery, where a god candidate uses the red arrow on the police to make them obey him. The god candidate saves the hostages and becomes a hero. However, Mirai realizes that this person is dangerous, using too much power. Na agrees that the red arrow is very dangerous. Meanwhile, another angel praises the god candidate's actions, but another angel says it doesn't matter. In Metropolis, a man claims in an interview that he's from heaven and is here to defeat the other god candidates. He says he has already killed one, and there are only 11 candidates left. Another character, unsure about being a god candidate, talks to NASA and asks her to take away his status because he just wants to live a happy life. NASA explains that if someone loses the will to live, they can't stay in the competition. The character understands that he has no choice but to keep fighting to become God. NASA explains the ranks of angels, saying there are only 3 special rank angels, and she believes she is one of them. The character, now determined to become God, decides to go to school to live a normal life while keeping his true identity a secret. At school, he tries to act like a normal student, but he sees another angel and wonders if this person is another God candidate. He decides to stay calm and act normal. The episode ends with the angel approaching him, leaving him confused and uncertain.